Hey guys, and welcome to season 4 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, we get to remember and reminisce back in time with some of our guests like...
Hey, we are Entity,
and you're listening to
the Us People podcast
with Savia Rocks.
Peace, my name is Oni. I'm a producer-engineer from Queens, New York.
Hi, my name is James Green. I'm a TV presenter, sports reporter and journalist.
Hi, this is Joy Langley, and I'm the author of Navigating Stress.
Hey, this is Travis Glossop. I am a creative radio producer for Kiss FM, and you're listening to the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks.
We highlight the strengths of our cultures, talking about diversity and inclusion, and speaking out loud and proud about who we are.
I was never that good. I was determined. I had a love for the sport, and that always fueled me.
At 49, I was seven years post-divorce after 22 years and 3 kids of a marriage. And so I knew that I needed to figure out what was happening for me and why was this such a severe sort of crack in my identity and how I showed up in the world.
It's great. I'm glad, because I'll be honest, I didn't really work that hard at uni, so it was good to leave uni and really get on it, really because I also, as a person, I think I value productivity. A lot of people live to work. I think I am one of the work to live guys, but because my work is amazing, that's all right with me. So as a person, I go to bed happy when I've had a productive day.
We've also saved the best till last by honouring another artist and showcasing their talent as our new theme song, with none other than your host, Savia Rocks, featuring in their song. So guys, enjoy, stay creative, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Let's go.
Hey, my name's Stix Clarke, and I'm a freelance drummer, and you're listening to Us People podcast with Savia Rocks.
Peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. I protect my energy and peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace when I wake up.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I am abundantly humbled to have the lovely Stix here with me, who is a freelance drummer, percussionist, composer, and tutor. Stix, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People podcast. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. It's an absolutely amazing opportunity to be able to talk to you.
No, definitely. It works both ways. So we had a discussion on the phone, which was really nice.
Yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah, we did, which was really nice. So I really want to get to know who you are. So my first question is, could you tell me about yourself, where you grew up, but also how that influenced you to be the creative person who you are today?
I would say it took me quite a long time for me to get to where I am now, being creative in itself. I've been living in Birmingham for my whole life, really. So I'm 22 now. So yeah, for 22 years I've been in Birmingham for that long. It's quite hard right now in Birmingham that even though there's quite a good music scene, it's just not as it was before.
Yeah. So
it's very hard to find that influence mainly from the city itself.
Yeah.
Going to gigs and watching solo artists, bands, you just name it. So more of my influence did come more from America.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it was just me being more drawn towards it. They had loads of variety of different bands, genres, and I just felt like I wasn't prepared for it, but I was just drawn to it straight away. Yeah, it was. You're taking me a long time back, even though it's not even that long. My main influence is from rock.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, always listening to that. Even though it wasn't just pop, it was mainly rock, sorry, my mistake. But I was sort of dabbling into each genre. And I felt like I didn't really know what it was till I was like 19 or 20 that I actually probably went into actually listening to different genres and that. But it was still, again, still listening to rock and that as my main influence.
I like that. I can tell that you're definitely a big rock fan, and it's just I like it. No, I like
definitely
it.
True.
No. You can always tell when somebody loves what they do, regardless of. Trust me, I've spoken to so many musicians, and the one thing that they have said to me is that no matter how much they struggle, sometimes in what they do, it's the love of what they do that keeps them going every single day.
And I think that's what where my mindset got me from seeing all these well, if you want to call them icons, or just people who where I want to be. I'm taking influence from that to get my mind not exactly the same, but having a similar vision and where to take it.
I like that. No, that I definitely like that, and it shows. Anytime we play music, everything is about. And I always tell people everything is about energy, and how we put that energy into our music, and then that energy floods out into people. They get that energy. So anything of what we do in life is so important. That the energy that we put into it. So I actually want to dig more deeper into who you are, Stix. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So can you define who you are as a person? But who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage? How did you manage to come out from the place that you were to be in a positive place of where you feel like you can be Stix again?
It was, I'm pretty sure that I know exactly when it happens, when, even though people always say that's very young to actually have what I was thinking at that moment, was I was still studying music at that point, around college. And I think it must have been the people around me that made me feel like that. So I was not in the right group of people to make me not feel positive, not only for myself, but for what I want to do. So people bring me down. I was like, this is not the people that I should be hanging out with. So forcing myself to move away from the people that don't have the same vision as me. Mm-hmm. Because if I have people that actually have the same idea and having the same path or the same goal that where I want to be, then I can start growing as a person, how to treat people, not only treat people in general, but how to treat people in business. I'm still learning how to do that. And I would say I'm learning every single day. Yeah. But yeah, there was one point where I actually didn't want to do music, which was really bad. When I think about it now, I feel really not good actually having that mindset. And it took probably a year or two until I thought, no, this is definitely what I want to do. And I didn't, even though that I'm a freelance drummer now, I only wanted to stick to one band, being in the rock and roll lifestyle when I was 18, 19. And then over a year ago, I was just like, wow, I did not expect this to happen. But I feel like still to this day that I feel like I've made the right choice to actually become a freelance drummer, playing with different people, because that makes me more creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it teaches you more. It teaches you different styles, different methods. Also how to connect and network with different people as well.
Yeah. I remember that's one of my number one, one of the top three. It's like connecting is so important. And that's a good thing of being a freelance drummer.
Yeah.
You're doing, you've got your own business. You're trying to connect to as much people as possible, not only in the genre that you might just want to stick to, but I want to play different genres. So I'm literally trying to go as many places as possible, finding people on social media, going to gigs, and just even like the confidence that took so long to even just go up to someone and try and connect with them.
I like that. I definitely like that. It takes a lot of power within you and confidence to be able to do that, believe me. And I can definitely connect with you because there was a time in my life where I stopped doing music for 4 years. So
wow.
Yeah, so I definitely understand there is a connection there where we as creatives, we have this thing where we feel like the world is kind of against us. And as a creative, we are a lot more sensitive than normal, I would say normal people, but what is the word normal? But you know where I'm coming from when I say normal people. So there was a time where I felt like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I've had enough, or I need to go for a different space.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you maybe were going through, and I understand that because sometimes we feel like our journey and our path just slips away from us, or we're not doing enough, or why.
Yeah, or it's just you're doing as much as you can, but it's just not going anywhere.
Exactly.
And that's another thing. It's just having that patience, because I know certain people will start. Well, if it was a vocalist, start singing for like a year, doing a few gigs, and then they'll just get famous straight away.
Exactly.
And then other people, it would take years and years of hard work, patience, and passion just to get there.
I think that's why a lot of people get frustrated, because they see someone just sing one song and then ultimately they get there. But everyone has a different pathway. Everyone has a different story.
Yeah.
For us, we see it as that person got there today or yesterday or whatever it was. But really, you don't know how long they were grafting for.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and we don't always see that. But at the same time, there are people in the world, Stix, who can just jump on the scene and automatically just make it. But sometimes sometimes it's just because of the connections that they have. Unfortunately for us, we don't have
you
them.
Could be the greatest musician ever, but then you still don't get anywhere because you're not putting yourself out there to actually do the connections. You could be an average singer, but if you connect as much as you can, I think you become a bit more successful, even though there's other parts to it to become successful, to get where they want to be. Yeah,
it's so true. It's so true. And I've seen it with so many other people. So let's talk to me about why a drummer? More than anything else, why a drummer? You could have picked absolutely anything. I know it's true because I watch you, I watch your skill, I watch how you do it. And usually when a musician plays one particular instrument, 9 times out of 10, they're actually being able to play multiple instruments, but they just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for drums for about 16, 17 years.
Wow.
My intention, I did not intend to be a drummer at all. I must have been about 4 at that point, and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that fun. And then when I actually got onto it and I had a couple of lessons, like, okay, this could be a hobby or something. And then that mindset of having that as a hobby just completely changed over time. So, yeah, when I first started playing drums, it wasn't my intention to get to where I want to be. Obviously, at 4 or 5 years old, you don't know what you're going to be when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's been a crazy path. And not only as I'm a drummer, I've recently started moving into playing different instruments as well. I started playing guitar, playing bass. Luckily enough, I've had an opportunity for one of the artists that I'm working with that we've recently written a song that actually I played guitar for.
Cool.
So that's actually the first time I've ever done that for an artist. And it felt weird because I'm so used to playing drums and recording on drum tracks. And I was like, it feels natural, but it feels weird at the same time because you're moving on to this different world, to be honest.
No, I like it. And like you said before, that shows how creative you are, and also that you're multi-talented, not just in one thing, but in multiple things.
That's true.
As well. I would love to know what a day is like in your life, Stix, from when you wake up in the morning. No, I just want to know from when you wake up in the morning to when you go about your chores or when you decide what you're going to do for the day. What is a day like in your life from morning to evening?
Oh, I have had that question before, actually. I try to most days to at least for playing drums wise is at least 3 to 4 hours minimum of practice. If I've got if I've got a gig coming up, I recently done a tour in March, and before then, when I was prepping for that tour, I was practicing more than 4 hours because if you gotta have that relentless days of playing,
Yeah.
you need to be physically ready for it. But on average, it's about 3 to 4 hours a day that I would practice, even if it's not getting ready for a gig recording. I'm trying to get my technique right, or just up to standards, so I'm not losing it. So when I'm not playing for like a month, but then I go back in, and then it just feels weird because I haven't took care of what I need to do as a drummer.
Yeah.
Especially keeping my fitness up as well. That's really important. So trying to, even though I burn a lot of calories playing drums, I still have to go to the gym, make sure that I'm trying to keep healthy as possible. Mm-hmm. So then I'm not exhausted after playing like an hour of a gig, and then I'm exhausted in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But then at least most of the time when I'm playing drums, I'm always hurting myself, but not it's just by like hitting the drums or anything like that. But other pain wise, I feel like because how should I say this? Learned over time what is the best way for me to maintain all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, besides practicing drums and that, I try and write much as possible my own songs, even though they haven't been released yet. But I wanting to do that as a guitarist.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to find that right time where I'm not as busy to actually focus on that project. Because if I put another project on myself that I'm going to have to put a lot of time in,
pressure,
then I won't be able to play with other artists as a drummer. So it's just trying to find out time for it, to be honest.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. Let's talk about the music business. I know that you have a longevity life ahead of you. Music. No, that's what I wish for you. That's literally what I wish for you. So for me, one thing I do want to understand, there are a lot of talented, like I say, musicians and artists and songwriters in the world and producers in the world. But the one fundamental thing is, even though we are sensitive at what we do, a lot of us are not educated within the business side of the music business. So my question for you is, do you think it is enough for you just to have talent, or do you believe that you should learn about the music business in order to make you more powerful in what you do going forward? So when you do strive to go into, for example, a music publishing meeting, a record label meeting, you are worth more. What is your opinion about learning about the music business?
I would say you really, really have to know the music business, because it's not just going up on stage, going to the studio, playing an instrument. That's part of it, but that's probably like the small percentage of that, because you need to know, like promoting side, advertising, any of that. You need to know what the music labels are like. If you end up getting signed to it, what percentages would they take off? I actually had that conversation this morning about it, that people just, not everyone, but some people just, I don't know what the right word is for it, but they just go in and think it's going to be amazing, even though it is amazing, but there's going to be things that you would not know until you get into that.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like a learning curve, learning over time what it's like, even though it's really good to do the research as well before you do anything. That's really what I would say is, you have to know the music business.
That is absolutely fair enough. So let's talk more about styles of music. So if I was to turn around to you, Stix, and say, if there was one song that was the soundtrack of your life, what song would you choose and why would you choose that particular song?
These are hard questions, aren't they?
I like this.
I've got so many good songs that not resemble to me, but if it was a soundtrack, God, that'd be a lot. To be honest, if I had the opportunity, it would be these like more than 3 songs to soundtrack my life.
Okay, let's do 3 and then we'll break them down.
Yeah, go on.
First one. He still can't think.
No, I know there's a lot. I wouldn't say that was a lot, but there's good amounts. Maybe the first song that actually got me into like rock and metal, maybe. I'll probably say Metallica. That actually got me into like rock and metal side of music. Specific song is One. I remember watching that music video, and it just, even though that I didn't know what was happening, but that energy and that resembled to my energy.
Yeah.
So energy-wise, that would resemble part of me.
That's good enough.
These are definitely hard questions.
No, that's good enough, because music says so much about a person, and more than anything, I know you picked that one, but lyrics also say so much about a person as well. So
yeah, that's true.
When you can pick a song which is fine, and it could be for the melody, it could be for the rhythm, the production. But then when I turn around to you, because I know you saying you're writing a lot as well. So if I was to turn around to you and said, when did you realize that words had power? And I know you're still young, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the wisdom just like everyone else. You definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I was to turn around to you, Stix, and say, when was the first time that you realised that words had significant power where you could use them to influence your life? When would you tell me?
I would probably say maybe 18. Before I was 18, it was just about the instruments, the melody, the passion, how they were able to write their parts to move the song and have a feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I was around 18, 19, when I actually started really listening to the lyrics, I was like, it makes me feel like that person who wrote it is actually going through something, or they're trying to express what's actually happening with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's more of a story, and they're telling a story that it makes you think about it a lot more, that maybe someone else might not even talk about it, but that person who's written it wants to actually tell everyone what it's really like.
Yeah.
It all depends on the subject, really.
No, that definitely makes sense. And that's why I say words are so powerful. So my next question to you is, what would you do differently if there was no judgment in the world? We're living in a world at the moment where there is an abundance of judgment on how we look, judgment on how we speak, judgment on what we do, judgment because me and you both have tattoos, for example.
I think with judgment, I don't think it can get better.
It can get better.
But you can't change someone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do what you do, have what you believe, and if that person doesn't believe what you believe, that's their problem.
Yeah, I agree.
You do what you do. Be expressive in your own way. With like fashion-wise, I can definitely be really expressive in how I dress. Especially if I'm just going out in general, I could be, even if it's just going to the shops.
I like that.
But I'm being really expressive. If it's on stage, I'm like 100% when I'm being expressive in general. When I'm on stage, it's like 200-300%. I go really out there with crazy makeup. The clothes wise, it just depends on who I'm actually playing for.
Yeah.
That what works well. Not only for the music, but what's actually going to make me express myself into what the song is, or what the genre is as well.
I like that. See, I didn't even need to finish the question. You already answered it for me, to be quite honest with you. So that's why I find it was quite... So if I said to you, if you woke up tomorrow morning and there you had an unlimited amount of money, what would you change in the music industry to make it better?
I'll probably, what you mentioned, not mentioned before, but what we were talking about before with the education, just for people who actually want to be, not even if it's just a musician or it's any part of the music business, that it's good for them to have that education, the resources that actually needs. Because even when I've been at college or school, uni, even though there was some resources, there wasn't the right ones that I would need. They wasn't giving me much advice, so I had to literally learn most of it for myself.
Yeah,
that's why I feel like, the education is so important that I wouldn't even keep that money for myself. I would literally just give it to all the music colleges, all the unis, even if it's just like private tuition, that's more for like younger drummers as well.
I think mine would definitely be, because obviously me being a songwriter, I think I would give mine to a lot of songwriting schools.
Yeah.
To help them.
If you would know what it's like.
Yeah, I definitely know what it's like.
You want them to understand it, but you don't want them to have to go through the exact same and not having all that help.
Yeah. Another thing is, it's hard because you can give people a pathway, an easier pathway, but the one thing is that you can't teach people is to have gratitude for what you give them. And that's something that they have to do themselves.
Yeah.
So I would happily give it to them, as long as I'm also teaching them about how to have gratitude for what they have. But also I do something called return the favor, so it doesn't come back to me. So if I did something for someone, they do something for somebody else who is not privileged.
Yeah.
And it works its way around. That way everyone is helping everyone rather than it stopping at one person.
Yeah, and I think that's what people really need to know, is just show that gratitude, having that respect, or just care and treating equally, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Tell me about some of the people's work now that you abundantly admire. The reason why I say this, we're talking about schools. A lot of the time we go to school, some people are home tutored, some people don't go to school, but for anybody who does go to school and for yourself, have there been... Teachers play a fundamental part in our lives, and all it takes is one teacher to believe in our ability to shine in order for us to say that we're going to do our dream. Has there been a teacher or a person in your life that has said to you, Stix, go and do what you're doing, do not care about what anybody else thinks, make yourself the person that you want to become?
I think that's more of a two-part answer, really. With teacher-wise, it was before I joined college, so I was just finishing school at this point.
Yeah.
And I had a drum tutor at that time. He's actually the brother of, if you know the band ELP, Earl Lake and Palmer. So Carl Palmer, that's the drummer for that band. His brother Steve Palmer used to teach me.
Yeah.
So his way of playing and just enjoying that music, that gave me some sort of direction to that, which I always took on after, when I finished that part of my life, onto going on to higher education or anything like that. And then some of it was just me learning myself, really.
That's fair enough. That's totally fair enough. There's always one good tutor there.
And I'm still learning now. So it's just, you're always learning every day.
Yeah, definitely. I think we don't stop learning, to be honest with you. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about life, is you never actually stop learning. Anybody who turns around to me and says that I've learned everything, I'm like...
That's never... I don't think that's ever going to be a true answer, that someone has learned everything. because there's always something to learn.
Exactly, but there are people in the world, Stix, who think they know everything.
But yeah, that's true. And I wouldn't say that really annoys me, but yeah, I would say that annoys me. That's all I can say, really.
Oh man! So if I said to you, I'm going to take you out, I'm going to put you on a desert island for 24 hours, and you are only allowed to bring with you one president, one activist, and one musician, who would you choose for 24 hours to have a conversation with?
What was the options?
So your options are: you're allowed one president, one activist, and one musician to have a conversation with for 24 hours until I come and get you.
Sometimes with president-wise, I'm not into like politics, so it's very hard to actually pick that person that I can actually have a conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because probably the whole time it's just been about politics, and I was like, I can't talk 24 hours about politics. It was just frustrating me. I was like, not this again.
But you've got 3 people on the island, so you can move from one to one. Or you can all sit around the fire with a guitar.
Oh, that's true. Maybe a drum kit as well. And a drum kit as well. No,
I'm cool with that.
If it's big enough for the boats. With musician, I'll probably say the guy who actually really inspired me who actually started to inspire me for my drumming is Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
And I just think that I can literally just talk about his band, but not only about his band, his life, and try and have some connection and talk about life in general, and just listen to me. Well, if I had the chance to actually bring some music with me, then yeah, or even just having a jam together, I'll be really happy with.
We'll bring a whole jamming
kit. Or like a drum off, or something like that.
No, we bring a whole jamming kit. It's cool. I'm up for that. We'll bring a whole... So we've got the musician down, so now we need an activist and a president. He's like, I can't think right now.
I really can't think.
You know what? I'm going to let you think about it. Yeah, your mind is ticking. No one else can see this, but I can. Your mind is just ticking.
I don't have an answer for activists. I really don't have an answer for that.
You know what? I'll let you think about it, then I'll come back. And then when your podcast comes out, I'll ask you before it comes out. And then
I'll just give you a message quick straight away. I've bought one.
And you can say, Sav, I've got one. I've got both. I've got president and I've got a...
It always happens when I get asked a question and I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
A few hours later or the day after, I was like, I've got an answer now. But I was like, that's too late now. I should have thought that on that time.
You can literally just message me anytime and say, Savia, I've got it, and we'll write it up. We'll
have to do that for president as well. We have to do that.
Everyone's going to be waiting for it now because they're going to be listening and they're going to be wondering.
I'm going to have to keep this promise now.
Okay, see? Okay, we'll keep the promise, guys. Yeah. Trust me, we'll keep the promise. I'm good at keeping promises, so we'll keep the promise. So, what is the best advice you have ever received from someone that has helped you in your life?
Do what you want, and if someone... I'm trying to do word for word, really. So if... do what you want to do, and if someone doesn't agree with what you're doing, then they're not meant to be in your life.
That's actually a good saying.
So, yeah, I mean, since then, I can't remember who it was. I think it could have been just some random stranger who just seen me play, and then she said, came over to me and just said it. I was like, wow, okay.
Sometimes people come into your life
the whole time.
Sometimes people come into your life for that split second to tell you something because you need it at that time.
Yeah, I'd like to meet them again.
She'll come back.
Get some more wisdom.
Yeah, she'll come. Just manifest it. She'll come back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just when was the last time you felt totally at peace with yourself?
It must have been... There's been quite a few times, but probably recently. probably during this year. I think ever since after like lockdown finished, because I went absolutely crazy in lockdown.
I can imagine.
It's like, well, okay, now hopefully that doesn't come back. I was like, okay, now I'm trying to relax more, so I'm not getting absolutely crazy in myself. That I can just carry on what I'm doing and just try and get that role in the game.
Yeah.
And I think ever since the start of this year that I've done more things that I did like last year, that I feel like, okay, I'm more at peace now that I'm slowly doing to reaching that goal. That I just felt like, okay, I'm doing something right here.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That is fair enough for me. So I've only got 2 more questions for you. Okay. So,
they're going fast.
they go. Well, the time's gone fast. It's already like almost 40 minutes. So I'm like, whoa.
Has it?
Yeah, it's already almost 40 minutes.
Oh, God.
It's already almost 40. This is why I love talking to people. I love hearing about their stories. It's because the time flies so quickly and you don't even realize it. When you have a connection, regardless if it's over the computer or you're standing next to someone just genuinely having a conversation, when it's meaningful and it's real, Stix, it literally goes faster than you can ever imagine.
That's true.
And that's when you know you've had a good conversation
I
with someone.
think it's because you're in that moment and you're not thinking about anything else. And then when you look at the time, saying,
yeah, that's literally, I looked up and I realised.
Really fast.
Yeah, I looked up and I realised how quickly our time has gone. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. So my second to last question is, I kind of forgot it for a second actually. So I see you as the next generation of musicians and musical geniuses in the world. This is how
I like to think of myself as a genius. No, I'm joking.
I think no. I think everyone is a genius in their own way. Yeah, I really do. I think everyone is a genius in their own ambient way. So, because for me, you are the next generation, or we are the next generation of musicians coming up in the world. How important do you feel it is for us to have diversity, to have kindness, compassion for what we do, but also make a pathway for the generation behind us so that they have an easier pathway than what we did?
I would say that is definitely true, that we do need all of that, because even before I was even born, that it was, I wouldn't say completely different, but there was some sort of different environment to how when I ended up being born in that, that it slowly has been like tiny bit more kindness to it, to each other, to the world, and that. I think if we all kept doing what we're doing, being kind, respecting each other, accepting to who people are as a person, what they love, what they don't like, that we shouldn't care if someone doesn't like this.
Yeah.
Or if they do, just accept them to who they are. If people stuck to that and don't go the other way, how it has been before, I think it would be a better world. I know, as I said before, that not everyone's going to be like that.
Yeah.
But it's trying not only advise but inspire people to not do the exact same, but just show something. Well, look how better it is now as it was before, because we've shown kindness to not only everyone but to ourselves as well.
That makes perfect sense to me. I think we need a lot more of it. So before I say my thank yous to you, the one most fundamental, important question is, I want everyone to be able to find you on all your social media platforms, get in touch with you for, to hire you as their drummer or tutor, whichever you prefer. Where can they find you, Stix?
So they can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn.
Hey.
Also my website, which is actually in all my social media bios, which is at Stix Clarke Drums.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I think that's all of them.
I'll put them all up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I'll put them all up. Don't worry, Stix. So I want to say thank you so much from the beginning.
I really appreciate this. And be able to help other people who are going to listen to this as well.
You know what? Having different guests on the show makes it so much easier for other people who want to go into that profession.
Yeah.
Especially when you have parents telling you to be one thing when you want to be another.
Well, exactly. Even if it's nothing to do with like freelance drumming, even if it's someone who's playing a different instrument, they can still take some advice, have a listen, and actually have the same approach but playing a different instrument instead.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
So this is where I say thank you so much for your honesty, your
really
kindness,
appreciate it.
You know, your story of who you are as an individual, and just thank you for your ambient energy and coming on the show and just being your authentic self. It means so much to me. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, guys. I want to thank you so much for listening to the Us People podcast. And please remember, you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please, please also listen to us on Mondays on Heart Songs Live at 9 p.m. and on Thursdays we have a live on LCBN TV at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another.
I need a solution. Peace of mind, peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. I protect my energy and peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. Peace of mind, peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. I protect my energy and peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. Peace of mind, peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. I protect my energy and peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. Peace of mind, peace of mind.
People say that having a peace of mind is trying to find a consistency of calmness within ourselves, to crave for a clarity that drives us through our emotional journey of life, to never let a person's judgment manifest into a fear inside of us, learning to believe in our ability to shine through the darkest moments and tunnels when we cannot see the light. Patience being our light for forgiveness and strength, to believe in our destiny. If you want real peace of mind, one needs to stop fighting their inner thoughts and embrace them with love, because love is the most amazing and beautiful strength that we have to conquer our peace of mind. Make your thoughts impact a nation by keeping them true and honest, especially to yourself, but make your peace of mind protect you when you don't have strength to embrace anything else. Find your peace of mind by listening to your heart.
Do what you want, and if someone doesn't agree with what you're doing, then they're not meant to be in your life.
That's actually a good saying.
So, yeah, I mean, since then, I can't remember who it was. I think it could have been just some random stranger who just seen me play. They came over to me and just said it. I was like, wow, okay. And I just kept that in mind the whole time.
Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. Peace of mind, peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind. I protect my energy and peace of mind. Gotta keep my energy and peace of mind.